grab a drink and a snack because we're probably gonna be here a while. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany if you are new here, and I make videos all about books. It is officially fall time. I am so excited. This is the best time of year. This is my favorite season, and I just love all the vibes and the moodiness that come along with it. I figured instead of doing like a monthly TBR, I wanted to just do like an overall fall TBR of books that kind of give off those fall vibes. Some of them are going to be more towards Halloween spooky vibes. Some of them are just going to be like cozy fall vibes. I'm kind of throwing a little bit of everything in there. And then at the end of this video, I'm also going to give you some fall book recommendations on top of what I'm already telling you that I have already read that aren't on my TBR, but just additional books that I'm going to recommend. My list might be a little bit ambitious. I feel like I'm feeling a little confident right now as I was picking out all of these books. However, to me, fall goes all the way up until like Thanksgiving. Then I can like shift gears into like winter, Christmas. That gives us like 2 months to get these books done, and I've been averaging around like 12 books a month lately. I know, that's actually crazy. For me, that's crazy. I used to only read like 4 or 5 books a month, so this is like a big jump for me, and I'm very excited that that's been my average. So I feel like I can get through these books. Most of the books on my TBR I do physically have, but there are some also that are going to be on my Kindle, so I'll also kind of include those and put like the little picture up here. But let's just jump right into my TBR, and then like I said, we'll end with additional book recommendations. The first 3 books I do have on my fall TBR I'm so excited for because I feel like they just give me like for some reason a cozy vibe, which I don't know why, but they are the mass market like murder mystery type books. Most of the titles are like puns or just funny things, and I don't know, they just look so fun. The first one I do have is called A Mold for Murder. It is a soap making mystery, and all of these books are essentially like there's an event going on and there's a murder, and then someone in the town, normally the main character, is like having to investigate this murder, and like they might be the next victim. Like they all kind of have that same like underlying plot, so I'm not going to read you each plot, but this one is a soap making mystery. So they're doing like a soap making celebration situation in the store. This one takes place in North Carolina. Then I have Death by Pumpkin Spice. I just thought the cover on this one was so cute. This one is a bookstore cafe mystery. And then the last one, I don't know why I'm so excited for this one, it is Catch Me If You Candy, and this is a bake shop mystery. And this just, I don't know, it's so cute. Like this I think would be so fun to read in October. I'm sure these are on everybody's lists if you haven't read them yet, and they are the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. This is like a pen name, I believe it's called, so this is like the name that she is using for like this series of books, which is very iconic because a lot of people say that these give fall Gilmore Girl vibes. If you know me, you know like I love Gilmore Girls. I think it is such a cozy, fun show. Rory does get annoying when she's at Yale and a little bit before that, but we ignore that. We move on. So if you haven't heard of these yet, they are both small town romances. I do believe they're actually spicy, which I didn't know. Like, it just looks like a cozy fall vibe, but somebody was saying that they are, and I'm like, that is, I don't know, that's so funny. I would have never guessed that. This first one is about our female main character. Her name is Jeannie, I believe, and she gets gifted the cafe by her aunt. And then we have the main male character, Logan, who kind of just likes to stick to his routines. He avoids town gossip. He kind of just like does his daily thing and like minds his business. He is very much giving Luke Danes. So then of course Jeannie comes along and disrupts his routine, just like every good small town romance. He's of course drawn to her, and you know, it just goes on from there. Then we have the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. This one for some reason sounds so fun to me, like more than the first one, because this one's about a girl named Hazel. She finds like this secret note in a bookstore. So then she's following like the secret message, and it's leading her down like this trail of different mysteries. And the local town fisherman, Noah, I believe is his name, he's like helping her with this, and he's had a crush on her for like the longest time. So I don't know, I just think it's gonna be so good. How to get those out of the way, those are like the super fall type books. Now we're gonna get more into like the moody books, the fantasy books, I have a horror book, I've got some academia, like we're gonna get more into those now. The first one I do have is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. I actually bought this a long time ago and I haven't read it yet. And I think that this would be a good book to read, honestly, for fall, besides the fact that the cover alone just kind of gives like that vibe. It's about this girl named Winnie who lives in Hemlock Falls, and she wants to join this group called the Luminaries. And what that is this group that pretty much protects people from monsters and nightmares that are in the forest of Hemlock Falls. It says, ever since her father was exposed as a witch and a traitor, her family has been shunned. When she turns 16, she can take the deadly trials to join the Luminaries. It's just like a big book on trials, like competition, monsters, nightmares, fighting. It's got like witchy vibes. And then her and Jay, who's going to be the main male character who she's going to be working with, they discover a danger lurking in the forest that no one in Hemlock Falls is prepared for. It just sounds good. I think it sounds like a good time. I love anything that does have like a trial competition, and then you want to add like the whole spooky forest vibe into it, and I love it. I'm here for it. Next, I'm sure everybody's probably heard of this because it was also a really popular movie after it was a book, but I haven't read it yet, and it is Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. I've been wanting to read this for a while. I just feel like it would read really easy. I love like murder mystery type vibes because anything that just like keeps you on your toes and keeps you guessing is very easy to finish in like the same day. It's about a train. Snowdrift stops the train in its path. The passenger is found dead, like stabbed, and the door is locked from the inside. So it's like, what the heck? And then there happens to be a detective, of course, on the train, and it is up to him pretty much to figure out what is going on, who the killer is, before they find their next victim. Up next, I did just get this book, and I'm gonna be buddy reading it with my friend. It's Stephen King's The Bazaar of Bad Dreams. It's, I think, a bunch of like short stories, but anything by Stephen King, you already know, is perfect for fall and Halloween. Stephen King delivers a magnificent, eerie, riveting collection of stories featuring, oh wow, that's cool. It's also got like an autobiography aspect to it, where he talks about like when, why, and how he came to write each story. That is really cool. And then I guess there are connections between each story. So it's like mini stories that all kind of interconnect. Hopefully it's good, hopefully it's fun, hopefully it's spooky. We found these at thrift stores. Next on my list, this is gonna be a book I'm gonna read on the Kindle, and it is The Ex-Hex. 9 years ago, our female main character, Vivian, her and her boyfriend broke up. And like in the distress of everything, she put a little like curse. It's supposed to be like just a little simple, not harmful curse on her ex. However, in the future, he ends up returning to town, and she realizes this hex was not as like harmless as she thought it was. So then they have to work together to find a way to break this curse before things keep getting worse. And I think it's gonna be like a second chance situation. I don't know if it's a romance. I'm assuming, I didn't really read that far into it, but I'm assuming it's gonna be like a whole second chance, rekindling type situation. Then, I have not removed the sticker on this book yet because I'm terrible, so just ignore that. But the next book is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I have been wanting to read this book for a while. I actually got it a long time ago, so it's kind of a shame that I haven't taken this off yet, but I am in like a vampire-y type mood this fall for some reason. So that kind of played a part in why I chose this as one of my books. There's trials in this book. Again, love, love, love a book with trials. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I'm competitive. So like any book that has trials and competition, I just feel like I'm also competing, and like it satisfies that like competitive nature in me. There's humans and vampires. Our main character, Araya, don't know if I said her name right, sorry, but she was adopted. She's a human, and she was adopted by the vampire king. I'm very curious as to like why, like what the backstory is there, but pretty much she has to compete in these trials because she wants to prove herself like worthy of being in that world and like being around the vampires and everything. As of right now, she kind of is just like seen constantly as prey. This kind of reminds me of The Cruel Prince, actually, but like with vampires. So she's gonna be competing with 3 other vampire houses that I guess have like very like strong, powerful vampires, and yes, I just think this is gonna be really good. Up next, I'm very excited about this one because just like vampires and everything, I'm also in a very like dark academia type mood. I think September and October is like the perfect time to read any like academia type book. This one I have been eyeing for the longest time, so when I saw it in store the other day, I was like, oh my god, I have to get it. It is Ninth House. It's dark academia. There's secret societies. I believe there's like a magic system or something going on here, because it says they tamper with forbidden magic, they raise the dead, and sometimes they prey on the living. I don't really know what is in store for this book. Sometimes I'm like not the best at explaining books because I very vaguely read what they're about. I like to go into books a lot of the times not knowing much about them. So I like do like a quick skim on the back so I don't like get all the info, but I should probably get better at doing that, because then when I'm relaying the information to you, you guys are probably like, what is she talking about? But the next book I do have on my list is Deadly Occupants. This book did just recently come out. I'm sure you've been seeing it. It's giving like Pretty Little Liars. It's so like cute on the cover. It's a group of friends who go on a haunted house tour on Halloween night, and then it says one of the girls barely escapes with her life. I'm like, what? So then after that night they go home, and then it just feels like they're being haunted by something in the house, but also by like her past. I'm pretty sure on the synopsis it literally says like for fans of Pretty Little Liars. I'm very excited about that one. I think I've said that about every single book that I've read so far. We should just play a game called Take a Shot every time I say I'm so excited to read this. Next on this list is Immortal Dark. This one also just came out. I just think it is so cool. Look at the side. No soul can enter without an invitation. Like that alone, if I knew nothing about this book, that alone would make me want to read it. This is a dark academia type fantasy. It's about a lost heiress who has to infiltrate a society, like a secret society. I love when it's like dark academia and then they have like the secret society. I feel like every dark academia book has like a secret society, but I don't know, it's just so fun to me. She has to live with the vampire that she thinks like killed her family and like kidnapped her sister. Is that not crazy? Oh my god. I just feel like this author was like, I want to make a fun fall spooky book and put everything in it that encompasses that, because dark academia, secret society, vampires, murder. This book is just so cool looking. Look at the inside of this one. Oh my god, it's so cool. And my last book currently, I'm saying currently because I'm sure in about a week or two I'm gonna find another book to add to my TBR. For now, I think this is enough to start with. This is Mistress of Lies. I'm sure you saw this on my previous video where I was unboxing this, but again, vampire. I'm just in such a vampire mood. I don't know. I should just go reread like Twilight or something. This is about a daughter of a very powerful blood worker who is disgraced. She spent her whole life perfecting blood magic to protect her brother, and she ends up assassinating her father. So I'm like, whoa, what's the tea there? Like, that's crazy. Like, I want to know why. And then our MMC Samuel, he accidentally like discovers the victim of a magical serial killer. Just, you know. And then he is pulled into the bloodthirsty court of the Vampire King. So then Shan, Samuel, and a blood worker named Isaac, they all work together to find out the killer. In my head, I'm like, is she the killer then? Or probably not. She assassinates her father. Like, I don't know. That would be cool, but it probably isn't that. So that is all of my TBR. I'm so sure that by the end of like this day, probably I'll have another book on that TBR. But if you want to keep up with like what I'm reading, if I end up reading these and all of that stuff, it is best to follow me on Instagram, add me on Goodreads, follow my book talk and all of that stuff, because that's where you will see me like actively posting what I'm reading, what books I'm finishing, what I think about them. Moving on, I'm gonna give you a couple more book recommendations that I have read that I think, you know, still fit the whole fall aesthetic. First, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about this book. I personally ate it up. You kind of have to like read it for like what it is. And this book is Zodiac Academy. Is this like the most perfect, best written work of literature that exists? Absolutely not. But is it absolutely fun, spicy, and just crazy, and constantly leaves you wondering and guessing and plot twists and just so fun in that aspect? Yes, yes it is. I love Zodiac Academy. I am a big fan of Zodiac Academy. I think people who don't like it just don't know how to have fun. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I think people who don't like it, I think they just try to read it like more seriously and stuff, and it's like you can't go into this book expecting like perfection, but it is perfect in its own way. Like, it's not perfect in like a literature sense, but it's perfect in vibes, you know? If you don't know what Zodiac Academy is, it's about these two twins who end up going to Solaria for Zodiac Academy. They were sent to the human world when they were younger to like protect them, and they didn't know. They like just found this out by Lance Orion after he found them and told them everything. And they are like the heiresses of the throne, but they don't want the throne, at least at first. And then so they go to this academy, and there are the heirs who everybody thinks they're dead, by the way. And they're the heirs who were pretty much promised the throne before they knew that they existed. So they're trying to like get them out of this school. I think this is fun for fall because it is like that academia vibe. There's dragons, there's vampires, there's werewolves, there's literally every creature you could think of is in this series. And the series is a commitment, so if you do end up reading this, just know there are 9 main books and then a bunch of like spin-off books as well. This book is full of emotions and trauma, and you're gonna be mad 90% of the time, but you're gonna be happy the other times. You're probably gonna cry a lot, but it's all worth it. I know that was a very long description. I have a very special place in my heart for this book because this is one of the books that got me like back into reading. Next, I do have the Shepherd King duology. This series is so great and so fun for fall. This duology is a gothic dark fantasy. There's a really unique like magic system based off like tarot cards. There's a monster living in the girl's head that she calls Nightmare. There's a spooky forest with mist that kills people, and literally just so much more. Like, this book is just so fun. I wish I read these for the first time in fall because I feel like it would have been so fun and like it would have fit the vibe so well. The like overall plot of this book is that they're trying to collect all of these cards to save the town, and there's just so many like things that get in their way. They have to go undercover. She's trying to figure out what this thing is in her head. Oh my gosh, so good. Up next, I do have Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have not read this book in a very, very long time, and I think I actually might add this to my TBR now that I'm sitting here looking at it, because it's been a very long time since I've read this book, so I feel like if I read it again, it's gonna feel all new again. It is about the circus that only opens at night. It's a competition. Yeah. You see a pattern here, like with my books. It's a game that only one can be left standing. There's high stakes. There's like a romantic love story. I don't know. It's very good. I think I'm gonna add this to my TBR and reread it. It reads really fast and easy if you're looking just for like a fun, good time. Then I have Nocticadia by Carrie Lake. I'm so mad that I don't have a physical copy for this book. I don't know why I haven't bought one yet because I love this book. I don't know what it is, but I love this book so much. I really need to get like a physical copy, actually. This is a dark gothic academia. It's about this girl Lilia who gets an invite to go to Drcadia University after literally witnessing her mom die and this like parasite that killed her like come out of her. And she formed this like obsession with this parasite because everybody was telling her that like she didn't see anything, she's crazy, like that didn't happen, and that she died a different way, like a natural cause. And she knows what she saw, you know what I mean? Like, she knows it was real. Eventually she ends up going to this university, meets this professor, Professor Devrick, and he definitely gives off very much like Lance Orion vibes. Like, I feel like their relationship is very Blue Lance if you are a Zodiac Academy fan. She learns that these parasites are real and that he's actually studying them, so she pretty much begs to be a part of this and like wants to research them too, because she, you know, she finally realizes she's not crazy. There's a secret society. It's a slow burn romance. There's some crazy things that happen, like her filming herself doing something in his class and him seeing it. So I don't know, I just feel like that book is one of those books that just like alters your brain chemistry. It was so spooky and fun, and oh my god, I actually need a copy of it. And she actually just came out with another book, like I think last week or so. I think it's Anathema, I think was the name. I need to add that actually. I need to add that to my TBR. Up next, very, very similar to Nocticadia, but also not at all, is Gothicana by Runix. This is also a gothic dark academia. This one, again, is kind of just one of those ones that are fun for what it is. You kind of just go into it not expecting much. A lot of people either love it or a lot of people hate it. I don't know. Me, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good, spooky, fun read. There is like this mystery going on where people are kind of randomly committing suicide and nobody knows why. There's strange disappearances. There's, again, professor-student. She receives an invite mysteriously to this academy. It's in an old, like, secluded castle, and she meets this professor who they nickname him like the devil. You're pretty much following her, trying to like figure out what is going on. It's just fun. Like I said, it gives the same vibe as Nocticadia, but it's also so different at the same time. If you were to only pick one of those two, I would suggest Nocticadia as the choice, but if you have the time, read this one. It's fun. Just like I said how excited I was to read the first, like, my TBR, I keep saying all these books are fun, but it's like I need to expand my vocabulary in these videos. And the last book that I have on my little recommendations is Hidden Pictures. I really enjoyed this book. The ending was kind of strange, like I didn't see it coming, but there was a crazy plot twist. Everything definitely was like shocking, and it's about this girl who ends up being like a nanny for this little boy who all of a sudden is like drawing these mysterious pictures of a girl literally being like dragged into the woods and like being murdered. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, because that's literally like the whole plot. It's this nanny trying to like figure out what's going on, and he keeps drawing these pictures. Big plot twist at the end. So good. I really loved that book. I'm gonna end this video here. Pretty please give me some fall recommendations as well in the comments, because I'm always wanting to grow my list. Fall is gonna come around again next year, so I'm still gonna need more book recommendations eventually anyways. And don't forget to subscribe, follow me along on this booktube journey. That way you can also see me reading these books, hopefully in vlogs and everything. Follow my social medias to stay up to date with what I'm reading, what I'm doing in life, what I think about my books that I am reading. And other than that, I think that is all. If you read any of the books that I did recommend, please let me know, and let me know your thoughts on them as well. You can DM me, whatever. And that is it. So happy fall, everybody. I hope you guys have a great time, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.